Shalom. Give all honor and praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. The bonus to the elders, apostle, great millstone, for teaching this truth to sincerity, salutation to the hopeful, let that spirit of the four corners of the earth. So the title of this lesson will be In the Spirit 01. Okay, the upcoming presidential election 2024. Okay, so I'm just going to be in the spirit, right? Bringing out precept, bringing out edification, and edifying you, brothers and sisters. Okay, because this upcoming 2024 presidential election, it's going to be a big deal, right? Remember this, that the Apostle Tuhar, he called this the year of the hopeful year of Jacob, trouble happening, right? So we know that around the time of the presidential election, especially in the U.S., it's a big deal, right? It's a big event. Okay, it's a big event in the U.S. Okay, because basically, whatever president gets elected, you know, that basically is a new regime, right? It's a new regime. So you're gonna think that laws gonna be implemented, laws gonna be changed, right? Policies, bills, programs, all these things are gonna be affected. Your daily life, especially if you're living in the U.S., your daily lives are always affected, when a new president either stays in office or get removed from office and a new president comes in. All right. So it's a big deal, it's a big event in the US. Okay. But I was gonna bring up the scripture here in Daniel 2:21. All right, and this was when I believe Yahawah, he revealed the vision to Daniel regarding, I think, of the vision King Nebuchadnezzar. I'm mistaken about that statue. The golden statue, or it was either he interpreted the golden statue or him being in the in the wilderness. But here Daniel 2:21, and he changes it. So this was Daniel. I'm just gonna read up 20 verse. Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of the Most High forever and ever, for wisdom and might are His, and He changeth the times and the seasons." Okay, he removeth kings instead of kings. So I believe this was the um he was basically, it was a vision of him named King Nebuchadnezzar being, in the wilderness there. He removed the kings instead of kings. Okay, because this is what Yahweh decided. He does this, right? He controls everything, right? So these people think they're voting in, this is what we call the illusion of free will, because these people think, that their vote count, right? Their vote gonna affect who gonna be the next president, or who gonna stay in the office, right? It is not your vote that count. Is what Yahweh BAHASHAM shall set up, right? In the spirit. So he removes kings instead of kings. Okay, he giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. Okay, which is talking about the prophets, the teachers, right? And now I'm believing, this dream, was going into the um the one the golden statue. So yeah, so the point was in 21 verse. The Lord, he set up kings. He set up kings and he removes kings. Okay, so NLT, he controls the course of world events. That's a big one in NLT. Is Yahawah Shah, he controls the course of world events, presidential elections, okay, wars, okay, earthquakes, thunderstorms, okay. Yahawah Shah who controls everything, okay. He removes kings and sets up other kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars, okay. So they'll have 2 articles here that I'm going to link in the text chat of the stream. And you can kind of do your own little lessons or application on it, but it's there. If you want to read it, just be watchmen, because we're watchmen, right? So I'm going to get that one as well. Being watchmen. I believe it's Ezekiel or Isaiah. Yeah, Ezekiel 30 and 17. Son of man. Okay, so this how I'm speaking to Ezekiel. I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give a warning for me. Okay. So the YAHAWASHI, he had made us watchmen to the house of Israel. Okay, so we are to give our people warning. Even though also I believe also in Ezekiel it goes into whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. So we still have to warn our people. Okay, but we know that 2/3 not going to get it. They're not going to heed to the warning. But in order for that blood to be off our hands, right? In order for that blood to be off our hands, we have to warn our people. Okay. Because why? Here's the consequences. Ezekiel 33 and 6. And 33 and 6. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taking away his iniquity, but the blood will outcry at the watchman's hands. Okay. So we are set up in the spirit to be watchmen. Okay. I can get that word watchman as well. The watchman duties. The subheading. Watchmen to look out or about. Okay, keep watch, observe. Okay, so we can't be a watchman that's always sleeping, right? I mean, by sleeping is spiritually. Okay, not being on guard spiritually. Not heeding to the different world events that's happening, right? Not heeding to the world events that are happening. Okay, for example, the presidential election. That's a big one, right? That's a big one. Okay, the third woe. Those different events happening there in the Middle East. That's big, right? So we have to continue to watch, right? Continue to watch and warn our people. Okay, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Okay. So the purge. Okay, so here's one of the articles I want to get into. Let's see what the Spirit want me to do. I wanted to get into the purge, but let's see. I'm probably gonna get into the purge. Yeah. So, okay, the purge election year in a reflection of society. Okay, so the purge election year in a reflection of society. So there's a movie, right? And I believe it's on Netflix now because these Edom, know that around this time, right? Around this time, this year, it's all about the presidential election, right? Everyone's talking about the presidential election, and it's happening in October, right? But there's going to be events that are going to be arise, leading up to the presidential election because it's a big thing, right? Okay, so the third purge movie focuses on the political ramifications. The word ramification means the consequences of an action or event, especially when complex or unwelcome. Okay, of elections held. So a complex of events, right, that occurs around elections. Of elections held in a society where an annual social outburst of violence reigns as the most important event of the year. Okay, because people, start, the TVs, right? If it's not the Super Bowl, then it's a presidential election. Just to be plain and simple. If it's not, if you don't have this special, no, which I'm referring to, mainly the U.S. If people are not watching the Super Bowl, then they're watching, which, which in October, right? You know, it'll be the presidential election, right? That people will be having their eyes focused on, right? Because it's big, right? It's big. Like I mentioned, right? It affects, you know, you as a U.S. citizens, right? So-called Babylon citizens, it affect you, right? Where an annual social outburst of violence reigns as the most important event of the year, so how the purge vision of the annual day, no consequences, reflects the modern real-world notion of election. Okay, right. So this is going back to it. They will not regard their kings or princes, right? Because once it's, and I hope and pray that something happen, around this presidential election, right? Something big happen. Okay. Proverbs 29 and 2, it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Okay. But when the wicked bearers rule, the people mourn. So people getting riled up, violence, you hear about violence, is the people, you know, that are mourning. Okay. So when the wicked bearers rule, the people mourn. Okay. Like the word mourn, sigh, groan, right? And pain or grief. Okay. So the people, they're basically a form of, grieving, right? Can be through, you know, them protesting. Okay. Um, it can be through a lot of things, right? You gotta be spiritually when it comes to these types of things. Okay, especially things around the presidential event and filtering it out through the scriptures, like our elder apostle, you know, as elder apostle to our mention, we have to filter these things through the scriptures, right? Um, here, second Edges 15 and 16. I'm gonna actually start to the 14 verses. Reads, "Woe to the world, so destruction, sorrow, and them that dwell therein." Okay, for the sword and the destruction draws nigh. Okay, so we're coming some times where people, they're not gonna be counting on spiritual, they're not gonna be counting on the Lord. They're gonna be counting on their weapon, to protect them, right? You know, they won't. So this is why, you know, it's a time of destruction, right? Okay, for the sword and the destruction draws nigh, which is referring to the third woe, right? All hell breaking loose, and when one people stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand, which represent the modern day weapons, right? Your ARs, your ARs, your assault rifles, okay, whatever it might be. For there should be sedition among men, innovating one another. They should not regard their kings, which are your modern day presidents, okay, or whoever ruling your country, your prime ministers, nor princes, which represent your governments, different, mayors, okay, in the courses or their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, and this is what basically this article is going into, right? That there's no consequences, right? Okay, because these people, you know, are gonna be like either gonna be like madmen sparing none, right? Which they was going back to Eden, but you know, there these people gonna be like madmen sparing none. They're not gonna guard their kings or princes, right? That's why I said that they should not regard their kings, nor princes, in the courses of their actions shall stand in the power. So whether, so we'll come some times where it's gonna be just all hell breaking loose all around you, right? Sedition, um, conduct of speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of state and monarch, right? So you have all these different groups, whether they are KKK, okay, um, jihadists, okay, um, you know pro whatever, these people are gonna be the Lord gonna put a spirit on these people to rise up, right? Whether it's the BLM movement, okay, but we know that they're gonna be some, the Lord gonna cause it. He gonna cause something big to happen this year now. You know, it's just a matter of time and when, right? So, I have this other article that I want to go into, right? Americans. So it's by PBS News Hour. Americans agree that the future of democracy is on the line in the 2024 election, but disagree about who poses the biggest threat. Okay, so these Americans already you know, that whoever get elected, they can possibly hinder our rights, right? They can possibly hinder our rights. This is why it's a big event, right? Whoever gets elected, you know, they can change. They can, they have the power, which we know the power is not given is given by the Lord, right? You know, they have, whoever it might be, but we know that, us, being teachers of the Lord, being teaching the prophets, right? We know that you know it's whether whatever decision, whatever policy, whatever law they be put in place, right? You know, whatever laws they enact, right? You know, we're gonna be protected, whether it be a draconian law, right? You know, you have to be, so and so. If you do this or do that, you're gonna be the consequences of you being put to death, right? We know that we're gonna be protected, right, in that day. Okay. Um, a poll from the Associate Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research found that 62% of adults say democracy in the U.S. could be at risk depending on who wins next fall. Okay, so democracy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and that word, you know, in this lesson, but you know, it's just again showing that these elections, they are big, right? Majorities of the Democrats 72% and Republicans 55% feel the same way, but for different reasons. Okay. President Joe Biden which is the current U.S. president, has attempted to paint a dystopian future. A dystopian future. Okay, I'm actually going to for dystopian. I like that word. Um, see if I can highlight that here. Dystopian. Bear with me. Dystopian. Relating to or denoting and imagine state or a society where there is a great suffering or injustice, right? Because this devil, in which this devil is painting, right? This is and it's all through the spirit, right? These people, you know, you have Republicans, saying, that the current president is painting, that the U.S. is going to be in all hell, right, breaking loose, right? Draconian laws being implemented, right? And this is what we're heading to, right? This is what we are heading to. It's not going to be get any better, right? This world, this country is not going to be getting any better. It's just circling the drain, okay? It's just circling the drain, right? If GOP front runner and former President Donald Trump returns to the White House after promising to seek retribution against opponents and declining to rule out that he will abuse the power of the office. Right, the former president has tried to flip the narrative lately since the election. Subversion, subversion in documents cases against him. Joe Biden has weaponized the federal government to persecute a political opponent. He has called Biden the destroyer of American democracy. Okay, so these different states are trying to kick President, the former President Donald Trump out of the presidential primary ballots, right? You know, and then you have Biden who trying to keep him from running for president. Okay, I don't know why, but it's something big there. And we know whether it be Trump that's in office or Biden that's in office or whoever it might be, this country is still going, it's still going to, you know, it's still going to it's still going to, go to SHTF, right? It's still, no matter who it is, right? Because prophecy had to be fulfilled. Okay, this country is still going to go into World War Three. The country is still going to, the MOTB is still going to be implemented, right? So it's just a matter of basically when, like I mentioned, it's a matter of who, when, right? It's just a matter of who, when, and the time, right? You know, I think, so you have here, you can read this as well. This is something good to read. You can pause and read that. So from the right, the Republicans think about government outreach reached big government's threats to freedom and mandates to act in a certain way or adopt certain policies. You said, okay, so you know because what the policy because the current policies are being implemented. It completely goes against the scriptures, right? It completely goes, this whole abortion, right? These happy community policy that's been implemented. It goes against the scripture, right? But they're also trying to threaten our freedom by what? By taking, by basically, shadow banning us on the internet, right? Saying we can't start, saying that say you can't say certain things through through messages, whether you use T-Mobile, right? You can't say certain words or talk about certain topics, right? Or you're gonna be banned or you're gonna be fined, right? So these people, you know, you know, if Biden stays in office, right, he gonna be the main one that gonna bring about, you know, these draconian laws, right? But we know that, but again, it really doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter who is in office, right? Because he's still gonna bring about draconian laws, right? Prophecy is still gonna be moving forward, okay? Again, against that backdrop, the poll found that about half of U.S. adults, 51%, say democracy is working not too well, okay, or not well at all. Okay, so these you have American citizens, your regular diggly Edomite, in the 2/3, right? You know, they're saying that democracy is not working, right? It's not working. They're taking away our freedom. Okay, they're taking away our freedom. Okay, the poll asked about the importance of the common presidential election for 12 issues and found that the percentage who said the outcome will be very or extremely important to the future of democracy in the U.S. 67% rank behind only the economy 75%, right? So 12 issues and found that. So like I'm just all over the place, trying to slow down. It's a spirit, okay? Um, so the poll asked about the importance of the coming presidential election for 12 issues and found that the percentage who said the outcome would be very or extremely important to the future of democracy in the U.S. Okay, so this presidential election gonna be is important, right, to the future of democracy? Because again, you know, a new regime, right? It's a whole new regime that's been set up, right? And through that regime, they can change, laws. They can implement different laws. They can, you know, do all these different things, right? That will affect, you as American citizens. Okay, as a Babylonian citizen. Okay, so Tony Mose, a retired firefighter who lives in Monroe, Georgia, cited a number of reasons he believes we're not living in a complete democracy. Okay, that includes what he sees as a deterioration of rights, including parental rights, right? Because again, like going back to your, you know, giving, your children is allowed to, change their gender at a young age without the parents having consent of that. Okay, thieves and other criminals not being held accountable in a lack of secure borders, right? You know, you have the different two-thirds chase, that they were to rob, they were to go into your different stores and they take whatever they want. They won't be held accountable for it. Okay, so a lack of, a lack of, a lack of, you know, basically, there's a lack of, you know, um, the is lacking. The the criminal, everything's lacking, right? So I'm going to bring out this scripture in Isaiah chapter 47. It reads, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Right. So this is referring to America. Okay. And why she's a virgin, right? Because she's never been touched. She's never been touched by war. She's never been touched by distortion. She never been touched by something big, right? You know. So come down and sit in the dust, which represent confusion, can represent, distortion, can represent, just being that state of tribulation, a state of sorrow, a state of pain. O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. Okay, basically, if you're sitting on the ground, that means you are in a low position, right? You know, you are you're not high, right? You're under suggestion. There's no throne. Okay, there's no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, which are the Edoms. Okay, for thou should not be more called tender and delicate. Why is America not being called no more tender and delicate, right? You know, why is she not being called? You know, why is she not being called tender and delicate anymore, right? Because you know the democracy is being democracy, which basically goes into here's the ideology of democracy. So with an emphasis on notions of social contract and the collective will of all the voters, democracy can also be categorized as a form of political collect, collectivism because it's defined as a form of government in which all eligible citizens have an equal say in lawmaking, right? So America not being called tender, is not being called tender delicate because democracy has been taken away from these people, right? Even though they never did have any, say on who on the different laws and the different presidents, like they really didn't have a say in those decisions, but it's an illusion, right? And also goes back to the different wars that Americans have been getting involved into, famine, okay, you know. So you see no more being be caught tender and delicate. Don't no one. If you're living in this country, you're not. The American dream is being taken away. Okay, the American dream is being taken away. Okay, from these people, right? Don't no one come to America no more to seek, to actually try to live here, right? if you're coming to America, you're either coming here to get an education or to, just, you're not coming here to, to seek a living, right? To be something great in this country no more. You know, you just come here to get a better education. So I'm really talking about, the different, other, for example, if you're, you know, from French or from, you know, Africa, do you come here to get an education? Or from China, Mexico, you come in here to get an education, then, if you can, you go back home, right? Into, you know, so the big point I'm trying to make really is, this country is, you know, it's just going to that drain, right? It's just slowly circling through that drain, right? I'm gonna actually look at that word tender in the here, get it here in the BLB. Um, tender and tender, soft, delicate, weak. Okay, pursuing back to what that part iron, part clay, right? Part clay due to what the debt that this damn country is in, the debt. Okay, it's divided by the division. American Civil War. Okay, the country has been in one big civil war. America, the North versus the South, and another civil war is going to come. Right, Texas. You know, we believe that Texas, through the spirit, is going to try to break off from this country. Right. So you have your different civil wars against your different states, your race wars. Okay, your you know your race wars. Blacks versus whites. Right. You know your this the the they're gonna be another. I believe through the spirit they're gonna be another financial a financial or economy shutdown or however you call it. You know another great depression is gonna come to this country. Okay, so weak. All right, so it's no longer being called. It's not being called. So it's being called. It should no more be called tender, right? So basically, because at one point this country was, it was, it did have, a somewhat, it was decent, right? It was, it did look like a place where you just can come, you know, and, you know, be, you can actually live there and you can actually be comfortable living here, right? You know, but it's not being called that no more, right? You know, it's not being called that no more. Um, it's been put in the dust, right? It's been placed on the ground. Okay, no more called tender and delicate. NLT, come down, virgin daughter Babylon, and sit in the dust, for your days of sitting on a throne have ended. So basically, ruling over the different nations. Okay, you know, O daughter of Babylon, never again will the lovely princess tender and delicate. Right. All right. I don't really like how they word it here, but no, the point is made. Okay, so we're just gonna go back here to this article. We'll read this. So Robert Lieberman, a professor of political science at Johns Hopkins University, it represent clay. That clay represent the division, right? You know, that two horn that speak like a lamb. You know, that two horn like a lamb and speak like a dragon, right? How did this the two horn represent the Democrat and the Republican that speak like a dragon? You know, going back to you know their philosophies, right? You know, because it doesn't it goes against the scriptures, right? It goes against the word, right? You know, they don't govern. They say their laws are governed. They govern their country by the laws of the Bible, right? But this it's just an illusion, right? To get you to think that, right? Because again, this them this government. I don't care how you see it or how you think of it. Is against to their how hairy, how scarred this country really is. You know how that boiling melting pot, right? Is about to be overflowed, right? They're on a maritime when the people just you know through the spirit, right? Just on a maritime when just all hell break loose, right? So you saying that the has been uncovered through what? To the different, you have American owned, people, American regular people who professors, right? People who don't even know about the truth, right? They're speaking against this country. Okay. Thy nakedness should be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame should be seen. I would take vengeance, and that would not be as men. So American nakedness has been uncovered, right? You know, it's not a place, pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or however you say that word. Okay, and it's not, you know, a place where, the American you can make your American dream, right? It's American nightmare, right? Not a place of, your American dream coming true, right? You'll until you be naked and burdened with shame, I would take vengeance against you without pity. Right? So the Lord YAHAWASHI, he comes back to take vengeance, right? He comes back to redeem the elect and destroy Edom and his government, right? Okay. As for our redeemers, okay, the Redeemer, the Lord YAHAWASHI, will host a heavenly army. He is his name, is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Okay, so he's the elect redeemers, right? He's the elect redeemer. Okay, because he's coming to deliver the elect. He's not coming to deliver 2/3. 2/3 is done, right? They're done. Okay, their lot, has been, their lot has been set for. Okay. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt not be no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Okay, this devil, this country is not being called the lady of kingdoms, because I just did a prophecy update. That the different their allies, her allies don't want to support her wars no more. They don't want to, they want to do their own thing, right? Okay. Okay, this country is a capital of Edom, right? It's also known as Bozor. Okay, as God said in the NIV, sit in silence, go into darkness, queen city of the Babylonians. No more would you be called queen of kingdoms, right? Because it's the capital city of Edom. Okay, so I did want to bring out something else before I close it here. And media is a big part, right? You know. So look at all the robots that have been put to keep people, especially people of color, or the so-called averages, because we don't vote, right? So your so-called averages, okay, your so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latino, Native American, so forth and so on, for being able to vote. Said Pamela Williams, 75 of New York City, who identifies as a Democrat that isn't democracy. Okay, so it's so, you know. Um, so you can't read it here on your own time. There's a lot of education. And there's one article you can, filter out through the scriptures. I'm gonna, I hope this lessons will edify you. Okay, to you, Akko and Akkoff out there listening. Okay, to Walla, to YAHAWAH for putting the spirit on me to go into this. Okay, because there's that time, right, where just warning you before just catch you off guard, right? Whether it's just a warning for you can just get right, prepare spiritually. Okay, pray, repent, right? Okay. So I'm going to close here by giving all the praises to YAHAWASHI. To the next one, we'll say Shalom.